Hello dear students, how are you all? So I TAUSIF Ahmed welcome you once again on this wonderful platform Exam Board, and here we are going to study infinitive in gerund in today's class. So I want you to share this session as soon as possible so that more and more students may join us. Guys, today's class is going to be very interesting and very helpful and a very interesting class, as today we are going to study infinitive and gerund based spotting error questions. So in today's class we are going to study spotting error sentences based on infinitives and gerunds. Okay, this is a very important topic as far as your SSC examination is concerned, because a number of questions have been asked from this topic. So this is going to be a very important and also very interesting topic. So I want you to share the session as soon as possible so that we may start the class. Right, guys, let's see our first question. We voluntarily participated in the charity program organized to creating awareness about population control. Before starting this, I would like you to know that full infinitive means 2 plus first form of verb. Full infinitive means 2 plus first form of verb. Bare infinitive means first form of verb without 2. So where verb first form of verb is with 2, it is called full infinitive, and where the full first form of verb is without 2, it is called bare infinitive. And gerund is the ing form of verb. Okay, so infinitive with 2, infinitive means first form of verb. First form of verb with 2 is full infinitive. First form of verb without 2 is bare infinitive, and ing form of verb is gerund. So today we are going to solve questions where you have to decide whether full infinitive or bare infinitive or gerund has to be used in a particular sentence. In my previous class, I had told you the usage of all three. So if you haven't studied that class, please, after completing this class, please go to the playlist and watch my class infinitive and gerund first class, and there I have explained in detail what is the difference between bare infinitive and full infinitive and what is gerund. Okay, so after completing this class, go to the playlist and watch my entire class. There I have explained in detail the difference between these three expressions. Right, let's start. So the question number one is we voluntarily participated in the charity program organized to creating awareness about population control. Now in this sentence we have 2. Okay, keep in mind that the word 2 has 2 different meanings. 2 is not only infinitive but also a preposition. The word 2 has 2 different meanings. One, it is infinitive, and second, it is a preposition. So when 2 is used as an infinitive, it is followed by first form of verb. But when 2 is a preposition, it is followed by ing, that is gerund. That means 2 can be quite confusing. Why is it confusing? Because it can be followed by both a first form of verb and ing. The only thing that you have to figure out is whether the given 2 is a preposition or an infinitive. If it is an infinitive, it must be followed by a first form of verb, and if it is a preposition, it is followed by a gerund. So this is all about practice, and I will tell you where to is a preposition. So you don't need to worry, I'll tell you everything. So in this sentence, to is infinitive. In this sentence, to is infinitive. So here we cannot use creating. Here create will be the correct answer. Here create will be the correct answer. Okay. Now let's see the second question. I have taken on the responsibility of arranging the required training and to supervise the new staff. Come on, solve this question. Okay. In English, there is a term, in English grammar, there is a term called parallelism. In English grammar, there is a term called parallelism. And what does parallelism means? Parallelism means that if there is a conjunction in a sentence, if there is a conjunction in a sentence, the structure before it and the structure after it must be same. Okay? In English grammar, parallelism means that if there is a conjunction in a sentence, the structure before it and the structure after it must be same. That means the structure must be balanced. Just like in chemistry, we balance the equations, the same thing we have to do here, that we have to balance a sentence according to the conjunction, right? Before conjunction and after conjunction, the structure must be same. For example, if before conjunction we have the first form of verb, after conjunction we have to use first form of verb. So if we see this sentence, here we have our conjunction. Now as we know that according to the rule of parallelism, we have to balance the sentence. So just see what is there before conjunction. I have taken on the responsibility of arranging the required training. So before conjunction we have a gerund. Before conjunction we have a gerund. After preposition we have to use only gerund. Okay, after preposition you cannot use any other form of verb. After preposition only gerund can be used. So before conjunction we have a gerund. Now check after conjunction. So after conjunction we have 2 plus v1. That means this sentence is not balanced. To balance this sentence, what we need to do, we need to use gerund after conjunction. Okay, so in place of to supervise we should write supervising. Now this sentence is absolutely correct. So this rule is the rule of parallelism. Okay, we have to parallel the sentence, parallel in terms of structure before conjunction and after conjunction. Okay, so remember this is very important, right? Okay, next question. I went there with a view to learn the entire procedure to make water bottles. Come on, solve it. I went there with a view to learn the entire procedure. Now, in this sentence, just one thing you have to keep in mind, that the phrase with a view to, with a view to, okay, with a view to is a prepositional phrase. Okay, with a view to is a prepositional phrase, and as we know that preposition is always followed by a gerund, right? Preposition is always followed by a gerund. No other form of verb can be used after preposition, whether it is first form or second form or third form or any other form. You cannot use any other form except a gerund after a preposition. And since with a view to means with intention. Okay, what is the meaning of with a view to? With a view to means with intention. If I am going somewhere with a particular intention, we say that with a view to. Like I am going to market, and in market I am going to buy vegetable. So I would say that I am going to market with a view to buying vegetables. So with a view to means with a particular intention. So with a view to is a prepositional phrase. Now the story must be clear. If with a view to is a prepositional phrase, it must be followed by a gerund. So here you have to use gerund. Students often get confused by this word to, because generally we use a first form of verb after to. But in the first question I told you that to has two different meanings. One is infinitive and second one is preposition. So when to is infinitive, it must be followed by first form, and when to is preposition, it must be followed by a gerund. So this is a bit confusing. I totally agree. This is a bit confusing, but you have to practice this and you have to memorize, okay, that where to is preposition. Okay, there are not much. There are some cases where to is preposition, right? So in this sentence, with a view to must be followed by a gerund. So here in this sentence, learn would be replaced by learning. Clear? Okay. Next question. My teacher did not object for my using calculator in the examination. Okay. Solve this question. My teacher did not object for my using see, the word object is always followed by to, plus gerund, or to plus possessive plus gerund. Okay, so if you think that the word my is wrong here, it is absolutely correct, because object is always followed by to plus gerund, or possessive can also be used there. Okay, I objected to buying a new car. I objected to buying a new car. Okay, this means that when someone was buying a car, for say my younger brother was planning to buy a car, I objected to the plan. I said no. My younger brother told me that I am going to buy a car. I said no, you can't. I objected. So when I say that I objected, it must be followed by to plus gerund. I objected to buying a car. I objected to buying a car. Okay, so objected is always followed by to followed by a gerund. So here in place of for you have to use to, right? Okay. Next sentence. Indian universities have become one of the favorite destinations for the African students seek higher education. Solve this question. Okay, so in this sentence, Indian universities have become one of the favorite destinations for African students. Now, let me tell you something. A complete sentence, or we can say a complete clause, has a subject, a helping verb, a verb and an object. Okay, so if any structure has a subject, helping verb and object, it is considered a complete clause. Now after object, what do we need? Whether we need a conjunction, because this is a complete clause, subject, verb, object, this is a complete clause. So if you have to write after object, you need a conjunction, because conjunction is a connector, because this clause has been completed here. So after object you need a conjunction, or in place of conjunction you can use ing, or in place of ing you can also use 2 plus v1, because all these three expressions can be used as a connector. So once a clause has completed, like there is subject, verb and object, after object, if you want to write the sentence further, you need a connecting word, and connecting word can be conjunction, it can be a full infinitive, or it can be a gerund. But after object you cannot write first form of verb. After object you cannot write first form of verb. Why? Because first form of verb cannot serve as connector. Okay, first form of verb cannot serve as a connector. That's why after object you cannot use first form of verb. Now try to understand it one more time, that after object, if you want to write the sentence further, you need a connecting word, and since first form of verb is not a connecting word, you cannot use it after object. So only the word which can be used as a connector must be used after object, and that is a conjunction, or in place of conjunction you can also use 2 plus first form and ing. Now the question is, conjunction is conjunction, okay, but what is the difference between ing and first form? So ing refers to reason, and first form refers to purpose. Okay, so that means if you are telling the purpose of this action in the later part. If you are telling the purpose of this action in the later part, you have to use to plus first form. But if you are telling the reason of this action in the latter part, you have to use an ing form of verb, right? So now in this sentence, Indian universities, this is subject, have become, this is verb, one of the favorite destinations for the African students, this is object. So up till here the clause has been completed. We have a subject, Indian universities, then we have helping verb have, then we have a main verb become, and then we have a complete object, one of the favorite destination for African students. Okay, now as I told you that after object, first form of verb cannot be used, because after object we need a connector and first form of verb cannot be a connector. So in place of seek, 2 plus V1 or ing can be used. Now what to use? What to choose of these two? So as I told you that 2 plus V1 is purpose, 2 plus V1 is purpose, whereas ing is reason. Okay, so in this sentence, Indian universities have become one of the favorite destinations for the African students seeking higher education. So why do African students come to India and join Indian university? What is the reason? The reason is they are seeking higher education. So this word seek is telling the reason of African students coming to India and joining Indian university. So here the reason is there. So in place of seek we have to write seeking. Okay, we have to write seeking. Hope you got the answer. Hope you got the concept. Now we should do various kinds of warming up activities before we start running. Now tell me the answer to this question. B. Okay, so someone is telling B. What is the error in B? What is the error in B? See, in this sentence we have warming up activities. So it is not warming up activities, it is warm up activities. Okay, it is warm up activities, not warming up, right? When we do warm up, like we are practicing something, it is warm up activity, not warming up. Okay. Next question. There is no question of him failing in the examination. This is a very easy question. See, in this sentence we have a preposition of, and we all know that preposition is followed by a gerund. So we have a gerund here. Okay, we have a gerund here, and as we know that a gerund is actually a noun. Okay, so after preposition we need a gerund. Gerund is there, and gerund is actually a noun. Okay, and before noun we cannot use an objective pronoun. Okay, because noun itself is an object, and if it is an object, how can we use any other objective pronoun? Adjective pronoun like him or it or them, these are objective pronouns, we cannot use them. So what should we do? For example, if I have written car, we have a noun, car. So which word is appropriate? Me car or my car? Which is appropriate? Me car or my car? Me car makes no sense. Me car makes no sense because car itself is a noun. How can it be used with an objective pronoun? So me car does not make any sense. My car is correct. So as the car is a noun here, the same way failing is a noun, because preposition is followed by a gerund. Gerund is ing form of verb, which is also a noun. Okay, so here failing is a noun, and a noun cannot be used with objective pronoun. So what should we do? As we have changed me into my here in the example, we have to change him into his. We have to change him into his. Okay, because before a noun only a possessive can be used, right? Now see the next question. Modern youth pay more attention to see films than to read books. In this sentence, two parts has errors. Okay, such questions are not asked in examinations, because in your examination a sentence may have only one error, but this sentence has some typing error. So unfortunately two parts of the sentence have error. Okay, so in this sentence what you have to do, after attention, to is a preposition. After attention, to is a preposition. So in place of see, you have to change it with seeing. And as we have discussed the rule of parallelism, that after conjunction and before conjunction the structure must be same. So here also you have to change read into reading. But in actual examination such questions will not be asked. Only one part of a sentence can have an error, so you should not worry about it. Like you should not be thinking that how to solve this question, because both the part 2 and part 3 has error. Okay, so in the real examination such questions will not be asked. This question is typo error. Okay, so I have corrected it, right? So to seeing and to reading will be the answer. Okay, the terrorists said that they would die rather than to surrender. So this is a very simple question. You just have to keep in mind that but, accept, or are followed by first form of verb and not to plus first form of a verb. Okay, but, accept, or, these three words are followed by bare infinitive and not full infinitive. So here we have rather than. Here we have rather than. So rather than is not followed by bare infinitive. So you have to eliminate 2 from here. It would be the terrorist said that they would rather die than surrender. Okay. So but, except, and or, and then also I forgot to write then. Okay. Then, but, except, or. Then, but, except, or. These words are followed by bare infinitive in place of full infinitive. Okay. Bare infinitive is just the first form of verb and full infinitive is to plus first form of verb. So after these words bare infinitive has to be used, right? Okay. My only plan was to start a new company for expanding my business. My only plan was to start a new company for expanding my business. See, there is a difference between a full infinitive and 4 plus gerund. Okay. Students often use these two expressions interchangeably, but there is a slight difference between these two expressions. 2 plus V1 expresses your purpose, whereas 4 plus gerund expresses your reason. So, if you have a purpose of doing something, listen to me carefully. If you have a purpose of doing something, you have to use full infinitive, that is 2 plus first form, right? And if you have a reason of doing something, you have to use 4 plus ing. Like my father called me to tell me the truth. So why is my father calling me? Because he wants to tell me the truth. So he has a purpose for me to go to him. So here 2 plus V1. My father called me to tell me the truth. But I did something wrong and my father wants to punish me. Okay. So my father called me for stealing his money. So here the reason. Why is my father calling me? Because I stole his money. That's why he's calling me. So 2 plus V1 expresses the purpose of a verb, of an action, and 4 plus ing expresses the reason. So in this sentence, my only plan was to start a new company. Now ask yourself, why am I starting a company? Is this the reason or it should be the purpose? Okay, if I am starting a new company and the latter part of the sentence is the expansion, so what is expansion? It is a purpose or it has a reason. Due to expansion we start a new company, or to expand we start a new company. So expansion is always the purpose of starting something new. That's why in this sentence you cannot use for expanding, because expanding here is the purpose of starting the new company, right? So here we have to use 2 plus V1, that is to expand. Okay, for expanding is the reason and to expand is the purpose, and if you are starting a new company you must have a purpose, right? Okay, so guys, this much for today. Tomorrow we will continue the class from the very particular point. Like today we have solved 10 questions. Tomorrow I will start from question number 11 and the class will start sharp at 9, right? So revise all these things and tomorrow we will continue the class where we are leaving